You know, if you take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
So I guess I should still do an intro.
Yeah, the classic.
I feel like we should keep this in the episode too, though. Hey, hi, how you doing? It's a decent show, baby. Come and take a shit and urine on the toilet bowl, bitches. Anyway, so I wanted to say that instead of saying, what I normally say about, welcome to another episode of The Decent Show. But I'm Ryan Money here with another classic in the books coming up. With Reagan Horton on the mic. And Reagan, it's been like a whole 24 hours since we've spoke. What is happening?
Man, a lot has changed, let me tell you. I mean, I hope you got time.
I've got a little bit of time. Are you saying you feel like a different person? Do you feel altered in any way?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What's altering you today? Is it the pronoun game or is it something else? What's altering you today?
Definitely today I felt like more, I guess it's just because it's closer, but I'm definitely feeling way more hyped for the NBA Finals now. Like, I definitely want to watch every game if I can.
And what has got you feeling this way?
I don't know, just because all the ESPN coverage and everything, like, they know how to get you hyped for something. Like, the commercials are sick, by the way. Have you seen any of the commercials, like the IF commercials?
I really haven't. I haven't gotten to see a thing on it.
They're great.
The IF commercials?
Yeah, they're like, if Jordan didn't hit the shot, like, if like LeBron didn't get the block, if Dirk doesn't go all out, like, it's really, and like, it's really cool. The music's like really cool. Just, I don't know, it's really awesome.
Okay, I'll go check it out. I'll see what's up. So you're excited about the finals. You plan on watching every game. Let's say, just obviously, I really don't want it to be, but let's just say first game's a blowout. How do you feel?
I'm gonna be if the Raptors blow out the Warriors, then I'm even more in.
Yeah.
If the Warriors blow out the Raptors, then I'm watching game 2. If they lose game 2, then interest dips a lot.
A lot. Which is crazy because that's how I felt about the Eastern Conference Finals, and I could not have been more wrong. Toronto dropped that first 2, and I was like, okay, I don't need to see anymore. And they lost the next 4.
Yeah. I doubt that would happen, but if that happened, that would be incredible.
It would be. I'm rooting for Toronto heavy in this series. It's their first time to the finals. I hope they win it just because for a number of reasons. Aside from hating the Warriors, I mean, let's look at the positives here. I mean, I think it just gives hope to like new franchises. And it helps make basketball more global. So if they want to go to more countries and get more pro teams elsewhere, there's hope that those teams could eventually become championship contenders and like they're not just there to be the NBA's punching bag. Because I feel like for a while, like Toronto was really just like, they're basically the only team in Canada aside from the Vancouver Grizzlies, but that didn't really last. And I just feel like for a while they're the NBA's punching bag. Like they were just like everybody just beat them. They were never really good. They've had flashes of good players, never kept them. Basically made all the wrong moves all the time. And now they're in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they win too. I think it'd be a better story than, Golden State wins again. Like, no one cares. No one cares.
And I feel like it would make Kawhi like an instant legend. Like, I mean, he's already on like, towards the end of his time in San Antonio, and then obviously this killer season with Toronto, he's basically constantly been in MVP discussions, best player in the league discussions. Big contracts, so all that good stuff. And I feel like if he were to win this championship, I mean, that would put him on that next level. To me, that would put him over Kevin Durant in terms of whatever ranking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's the better player?
Yeah.
I feel like that puts him over Durant. Because Durant's supposed to be obviously the next LeBron, even though Durant's been in the league like 10 years. It's just LeBron won't age. And so I would say that puts him in contention with LeBron too, because he, obviously did one or two of them against LeBron. How many did they have against LeBron? Was it just the one? San Antonio. How many San Antonio championships does Kawhi have?
He has one. Yeah, he just has one because that Rayon hit that BS shot in Game 6. So to extend the series, and then the Heat won that title.
Okay.
But then the Heat came back and beat him in 5 games the next year.
Wait. Okay, so the Spurs and the Heat played 3 times, and the Spurs won once?
Twice. They played twice.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I that kind of puts him flirting with LeBron at this point. I mean, I know it's probably blasphemy to a lot of people because LeBron is, supposed to be is in the argument of, the GOATs. But again, I'm just saying, like, this would be an amazing story for Kawhi. And then it's like, where does he go from there? I mean, they showed like the breakdown of the odds of what team he might go to, and that ranged from the number 1 team was the Clippers, and I think Toronto was like 2 or 3 on that list. Did you see that list?
Yeah, I did see that list. I thought that was interesting that for some reason the Clippers, and it said that, like, it was heavily favored based on like Vegas odds that like Kawhi would go to the Clippers, which would be insane. I don't know how I'd feel about that, honestly.
I like it. I feel like, I mean, that's the other thing too. I feel like they would just be a downgraded version of what Toronto is now. Like they would, because Kawhi's been carrying Toronto, even though Toronto, I'm not saying they have a team of scrubs, but I mean, he's really been like carrying the load, like doing pretty much everything. And so like if he did that for the Clippers, they would instantly, because they're already the 8th seed. So that you add Kawhi, and if he does everything like he's doing right now, I feel like that instantly makes them better than Portland, for example. I don't know if they would be better than the Rockets or the Warriors, but they would instantly be flirting, with the 3 or 4 seed, maybe fighting with like Denver.
If they got another free agent with Kawhi, like another big name, that would be insane.
That would be insane too. Yeah, the Clippers have a ton of potential. It's just people can't seem to get past the fact that they're not the Lakers. But the Clippers are solid, dude. Like from what I've seen, they've got a solid organization, like top to bottom. They're obviously in a great city that people want to live at, and
great or very good coach, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, great coach. I mean, honestly, Doc Rivers is a good coach. I think he just struggled whenever they gave him the multiple responsibilities. Whenever he was like, president of basketball operations and general manager and coach, or just something like that. He had like 3 titles at once, and they basically demoted him to just coach. And the second they did that, everything's been better because they just don't need a coach doing 2 other jobs that aren't really coaching.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling here. The Clippers have a great situation, so I wouldn't say Kawhi. But if you go to the finals, like if you go to the finals with a team and they love you, like do you still go to the Clippers? Do you really think you would do that?
I mean, I don't know. I almost feel like he would just wait and see where everybody else landed if he was smart, before making a decision.
But I feel like a lot of people feel that way. It's almost like who's going to make the first move.
Because if everybody goes to the
East,
then go to the Clippers. But if everybody just stays out west, like Clay and Anthony Davis, they go to some other teams in the West or whatnot. Stay in the East. Why not? You beat the East, and the Celtics are probably going to be worse next year. The Bucks might be better because Giannis might grow as a player.
I feel like he's going to be working on that jump shot all summer. If he doesn't, he's an idiot.
Yeah, people are already saying like he's calling Kobe or whatever, someone to train him,
Oh yeah, he should have already been done that because he's I don't know, him and Kobe were in talk. I think didn't Kobe challenge him to win MVP, and he's probably going to get it. So I mean, technically challenge completed, but like I don't know. You think they would have already been kind of working on his jump shot? Like it's not like this is a new development. I don't get I don't get what it takes so long. How do you play basketball your whole life and you can't shoot? Like, if you're massive, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, Giannis is massive, but he does all the other things that small guys do except shoot. So I don't understand how that just doesn't become a skill that you develop.
I
Instantly.
agree. I mean, maybe it's just ignorance on our part, but I just feel like even if you are a big guy, I don't see any reason why you can't make a free throw line extended jump shot. You know, why you can't hit that with 40% accuracy. You know,
And Kawhi has
it's
the
your
biggest hands
job.
in the league, and Kawhi has the biggest hands in the league, and he still shoots two-handed and he nails threes.
Yeah.
So I mean, Giannis is taller than him, but I'm assuming doesn't have bigger hands than Kawhi because they always say Kawhi has the biggest hands, and Kawhi's out there shooting like a motherfucker. So like, why can't other guys do that? And yes, it's probably ignorance, but still, like, considering how much he practices on everything else, like, you just think that jump shot would be a little sweeter.
Yeah. I hope he works on it. I'd like to see them in the finals next year.
What do you think Kawhi's motives are? That's what I was going to ask you before I forget. What are Kawhi's motives?
No idea, dude. I have
do you
no
really
idea.
think that, like, because you said if people go east, so like, let's say Kyrie and KD go to the Knicks. I mean, does that really gonna make Kawhi go to the West? Like, does that really influence his decision? Because they always make it sound like it's like his brand and the warm weather and family and stuff like that. It's almost like non-basketball related things, in my opinion.
I don't really understand the need to want to live in a city that's big a deal because, you know, basketball season's only like, it's not the whole year, and you travel all over the place anyway. What does it matter where you quote unquote live? Like, I get that's
No, that's what I've always thought.
You're spending more time there anyway. I mean, you're playing half your games there, and the season starts in October and ends in June. So yeah, I don't understand. Like, you have some time off where you can spend it literally wherever you want, and you have all this money. I don't really understand why you need to live in your own town, but whatever. But yeah, I feel like he wants to go there, but then I think he's feeling like he has second doubts now, basically, because Toronto loves him, praises him. He's gotten all the way to the finals with them. They would be in the conference finals favorites for next year as well. But I don't know. Maybe he just wants to play with better play. Maybe he just wants to play with a better team because, yeah, like you said, he is carrying them. Like, he hit the game 7 game winning shot to like get him past the Sixers, and he did the brunt of the work to take him past the Bucks. Like, I mean,
he defeated the Bucks. I mean, and so I just don't feel like the Clippers are necessarily a better team unless somebody else joins him. But I don't know if anybody's going to go to the Clippers. I feel like in that situation, going to the Clippers, I feel like Kawhi would have to be the first piece. He would have to go there, and then I feel like somebody else would be about it. Like, but I can't think of another free agent that's like planning on going to the Clippers. But also, I don't know because they're obviously they're probably having discussions. You know, there's probably presentations being made to free agents.
LeBron's probably saying stuff or whatever.
Yeah, LeBron's hanging out. But I feel like Toronto, like, realistically, like, let's just take Kawhi's like motives out of the picture. I feel like Toronto realistically is basically pulled off what the Thunder did to Paul George. Like, Paul George was planning on going to the Lakers or just going west, like, this whole time, like, didn't want to be in Podunk, Indiana or Podunk, OKC. Like, he wanted, like, the city, like, he wanted to be out LA, like, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. And he goes to OKC for a year, and they basically just spent that whole year trying to convince him to re-sign. And they ended up re-signing him for a very, like, OKC-friendly contract. Like, they not only, like, I don't know, I forget how Brian Windhorst like phrased it, but basically, like, not only did he not go to LA, but he stayed in OKC for like way less money. Like, he could have had a way bigger deal elsewhere, and like basically kind of took a pretty like small deal from OKC in comparison. And so I feel like Toronto's like and they convinced him to stay. And so I feel like Toronto's basically on the verge of doing the same thing. Like, they only get Kawhi for a year. They knew it was a risk. They took it, and sure enough, they went to the finals. And I just don't get how they can't keep him. I don't know. I can't imagine him leaving. And they even had, so I feel like we're kind of beating a dead horse here, but to kind of move it along, they even had the Warriors on that list. The Warriors were 4th odds on that list.
Can you imagine?
Could you imagine? And so the guy that tweeted this, like ESPN tweeted or something, or like whatever, like Vegas odds, and like one of the guys I follow on YouTube, like basically put it in his own tweet and said, why would you even bring this into the universe? Like, why would you mention this into existence? That, like, basically it's like Clippers and then the Raptors and then I remember the other team and then, like, yeah, the Warriors were number 4 and then somebody else was 5. It's like, why?
So, you know, reading into that, you know, you can pretty much, whoever like says that, whatever the odds are, people are thinking that Draymond or Clay are leaving, because why would you have Kawhi and bring him off the bench, and like what position would he play? You know.
Exactly.
So that's a twofold, I guess.
And Kawhi would be an amazing replacement for Draymond. Like, he does all the same things better, and he's way nicer and way quieter. Like,
anyway, yeah. Well, we should talk about the Rockets now that we're like in sort of free agent sphere of what we're talking about. You sent me this text today about like how they're basically pursuing all trade options to everyone except for Harden, which I thought was freaking wild. Because we were just talking about this, and like they even call out Chris Paul, and I don't know. Basically, they've said that they're already like $10 million over the salary cap. So like the only thing they can do, they can't sign anybody. The only thing they can do is trade for like other players. Yep. And like a lot of the commotion has been said that, you know, yeah, they can trade for other players and whatnot. But you can't get any better. You know, you're not going to get any better because no one's going to give up anything valuable for Chris Paul's contract. You know, they would take Chris Paul, and then you would get some role players or some cap space if you wanted to pursue like a free agent or something. So it would be like a two-pronged move if you wanted to go anywhere with it. But it's basically they're saying it's going to be really hard for the Rockets to get anyone of note.
It is going to be hard. I can't imagine this whole day I've been thinking about it. I can't imagine like who we're going to get rid of and who we're going to get in return that's better. Mm-hmm. Because to me, we
got a pretty good squad.
We've got a great squad, and I mean, I'm not saying it's because like obviously we've seen it's not necessarily a squad that's going to win a championship unless the offseason reshapes other teams in our favor. Mm-hmm. The only thing, and it's kind of like what you had talked about previously. I honestly like and dislike this idea because I also talked about this with Jacob today, and I like the idea that we're being aggressive. Like, we know that we didn't win the championship and that we failed with this team basically 2 years in a row. Just forget about injuries. We don't even need to talk about it. But, like, we basically have lost with this team 2 years in a row to the same team. Mm-hmm. And whether that team changes or not, it's basically been shown that as long as they have at least Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and then, like, you know, I guess a Draymond, or just as long as they have some of those pieces, that they're probably going to beat us. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea that we're being aggressive and trying to make changes to get better. You had mentioned getting rid of Chris Paul because of the fact that we're paying him so much money and he's so old and he's injured. Me, you, and Jacob are all in agreement about that. But at the same time, so I like that part of it. What I don't like, and Jacob brought this up, is that it's kind of like the Lakers situation. You put everybody on the table and now guys are pissed that they could be traded. They don't know what their future holds. They have no control of their future. At any moment, they could be traded for somebody that's quote unquote better than them. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't happen, now guys are salty and we still have them on our team. So, like, yeah, they might be good players, but now they're pissed at us because we tried trading them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mess. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm
Papa Bear is bringing home the bacon. Oh, man.
I take it Gamble's back with that Whataburger.
Oh, he's back with that Whataburger. He is the clutchest. You know, Reagan, you're always talking shit about him, but I'm telling you, Gamble's great, man. He's the best. Dude.
He's overrated.
But yeah, he's a great guy.
No, but like the thing is that, you know, the Lakers were upset, you know, and they had to play the rest of the season. We're talking about, you know, in July, these guys are going to be on the trading block or whatnot. I just feel like if, you know, by the time we get around to like March and April, like they'll get over it, you know, like that's so long to go after all these trade rumors and probably them put it on the block is going to happen. I also saw a thing where like the GM of the Rockets basically said he was open to trading Harden for LeBron.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
No. Okay, so I told Jacob that was food, that they would trade Harden, and so Daryl Morey really said he would trade Harden for LeBron.
It's reported that's he said he was open to it. So that could mean a million different things. Like someone could have just been like, "Well, what would you give up Harden for LeBron?" He's like, "I don't know," you know, or you know, it could mean any sort of different things. I personally would hate that because I couldn't be a Rockets fan for at least a season. So I don't know what I would do NBA wise. I guess I would.
If we got rid of Harden for LeBron, you wouldn't be a Rockets fan?
Yeah, I'd probably just buy a Bucks jersey and root for them, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I would become a Mavericks fan. Isn't that wild? Like, I fucking hate Dallas, but goddamn it, I love Luka Doncic and Porzingis and all that shit. And if the Rockets did some stupid shit like that, I would have no choice but to be a Mavs fan.
I would root for them like from the side, I guess. But yeah, I just couldn't bear to do it. I mean, even we're really speculating here, but let's say they get LeBron and they win the championship, they win the finals. I still wouldn't even I wouldn't buy any shirts. I wouldn't have any memorabilia. Like, I couldn't do it.
Nope.
It wouldn't be real because I wouldn't be excited about it.
I wouldn't either. I found that tweet too. So odds to sign Kawhi. Clippers are the highest. I don't get how these odds work, so I'm just going to read them as is. Clippers are the highest at -200. Raptors are the second highest at +125. Knicks at +280. Warriors at 320. Lakers at 900.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's just weird, man. That's just weird. It's weird that the Warriors have a better chance than LA and New York, two massive markets who have had the way you read it just said.
No, the Warriors just have a better odds than the Lakers. The Knicks are third.
Whatever, I don't care. Anyway, it's just it's weird that they're in that conversation.
Yeah, I didn't even realize the Knicks were in the conversation either.
And they're barely, it doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like they would be higher up there. I feel like it'd be like Toronto, Knicks, Lakers, or Lakers, Knicks. Like, Toronto would be the first, and then those two. And then I feel like the Warriors would be 10th or something. Like, why are they even there?
I don't know.
Do they have that good of a front office? I don't understand.
They are pretty aggressive.
I mean, they got Boogie, so. And KD, so.
Yep, exactly.
Really excited for the offseason. I wish I would just start, the day after the finals ended. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because it starts July, 4th of July week, right? Or something like that. Like the first week of July.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I think it starts sometime in July.
Oh, fuck.
Well said.
Well, I'm excited for it because I definitely want to see what happens. But however it ends up, I just hope the NBA is still there's no clear-cut winner. I want nice competition. I want to be able to debate on who's going to win this or that. But we'll see. But I would say, the biggest pieces are going to be Kawhi. I just can't imagine going to the finals and possibly winning it and not staying with that team. But Kawhi, KD, Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and then I guess whatever the Rockets can pull off. I still don't understand what we would do. But if we can find a way to trade Chris Paul and make it worth it, because Chris Paul, I'd be willing to give up him for, I don't know, Kemba Walker, a handful of role players, whatever we can get. Just because
Kuzma, Ball, and
sure.
Ingram?
Maybe not. I would if we could get those three guys for Chris Paul. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it until it, I guess, happened and it failed miserably. I don't know.
I couldn't think of anything. I mean, I couldn't think of other Lakers we would want, but Kuzma's a good pick. But then I don't know about Ball and Ingram. Even I'm going back on it. Now.
if we could get more bodies that played similar to Gerald Green and PJ Tucker and Ariza. I know we don't have Ariza anymore, but if we just got guys kind of like that, they're not trash, but they're not all-stars, and they just contribute and they can score when Harden passes them the ball.
If we got Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I just can't imagine anybody taking Chris Paul for any of the players that you just named, because Chris Paul is so much significantly older than all of those guys.
Yeah. And it has to be, I'm trying to think of teams that are in need of a point guard. The point guard is just such a powerhouse position right now.
It is.
So are you saying that you don't think anything's going to come of this? By the way, the free agency apparently starts June 30th with players not being able to sign until July 6th.
Not able to sign until July 6th?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not too bad.
No. Because remember, the NBA does that thing where they allow players to talk, so they get all the hype and everything. Yeah. And then the official signing happens on July 6th. So,
but the signing can go from July 6th till what?
I think until the trade deadline, right?
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, I guess players switching teams, though, they got to do that before the season starts.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the other thing about KD real quick. According to Jacob, he, I guess, read somewhere that KD has apparently bought a house in New York and sold his house in Oakland.
All right, so it's a done deal. He's going to New York.
Yeah, but it's like, how does somebody find that out? Like, I guess it's easy to find out, but it's just so annoying that, like, that's how you know. Like, it's just like we're stalking this man's real estate and, like, purchases and stuff. Like,
here's another thing that I don't really understand. Maybe it's just really simple or whatever, but like, why not just wait a week and then do it? You know, like when the finals are over. Why even let the rumor have a possibility of getting out?
maybe it's going to take that long to sell the house. I have no idea. I guess it doesn't matter to him. I don't know. Maybe he's got beef. Maybe he's like sticking it to him.
Well, yeah, I'm calling it now. He's definitely going to New York, so I don't think there's any way he doesn't.
Because I guess if they win the championship, he'd still get a third ring whether he plays or not.
Yeah.
It would be his third, right?
Yeah, it'd be his third, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. I feel like he hasn't really earned any of them.
No, it doesn't feel right.
But whatever. 20 years from now, they're not going to really care.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. I mean, I kind of hope people are stubborn and still bring up that he was on a super team like 20 years from now. I think that'd be funny. Just, I don't know. He never gets past that, but still. Like, I would think it'd be funny in 20 years, like if Peyton Manning or someone is like hosting the ESPYs and just still like rags on him. I think that'd be really funny.
Yeah, that would be great. Do you have anything else on like basketball or free agency or off season, anything like that? I think is there anything else on the Rockets? Okay.
No, there's nothing else really.
Well, all I can say on the Rockets is I really hope they don't get rid of PJ Tucker, or James Harden, I guess.
I love watching him play, actually.
And I guess Capella. I'd like to keep Capella.
Sure.
Those three guys, Tucker, Capella, Harden, I really want to keep. If other people, I guess I'm okay with them being traded as long as we get something that's justifiable in return. Mm-hmm. Something that makes sense, because I was kind of negative on the Chris Paul trade the second it happened. I just didn't think those two guys could play together. And they've been making it work, but
it's not enough.
It's not enough. I feel like there's got to be a better match out there. But also, I want to know, I had said this to Jacob. I want to know, is James Harden the problem? That's kind of like what I debate on for OKC all the time. I'm always debating, is Russell Westbrook the problem for them? Or is it everything else around him? And then I kind of wonder the same for Harden, because they always talk about when Chris Paul would be running the offense and Harden's on the floor, Harden doesn't do anything. He just stands in the back. They're basically playing 4-on-5 when Harden doesn't have the ball and Chris Paul does.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he's great and he's a phenomenal player, and I think he could be a part of any championship team. But it just seems like to me that he just, after seeing him play in all these postseasons, and just see the way he plays and everything that happens, I feel like I think it's becoming more and more apparent that he can't be the guy that I guess is the leader of the team. He can be the best player on the team, but he can't really be sort of like how when LeBron went to the Heat, Dwayne Wade was the leader, and he was still the man, but LeBron was a way better player. I think we need someone that's confident and confident and collected and can perform like really well in these like high intensity playoff situations. Because I don't want to say he chokes, but there's some gray area between being clutch and choking, and he's like in there,
Yeah, I think his biggest thing is, because like if you look at like Kawhi and Giannis' situation, like if they don't have it going on, like they don't. There's just not as much pressure on, like they do more things, I guess, than Harden does. So I'm trying to word this correctly, but basically when it comes to producing offense, like Kawhi and Giannis don't do as much as Harden does. Mm-hmm. That way, like if they're not on it, like their offense doesn't require them to be on it. Like our offense pretty much requires James Harden to do a lot. Like most of our games are dependent on him having a ton of either points, free throws, assists, or all the above. And like Giannis and Kawhi, they can have more quiet games and still be close or win because their offense doesn't necessarily rely on them being, creating. Like they might attract attention, but they not necessarily have to dribble and do as much screen and rolling and ISO ball as like Harden does.
Yeah, Giannis and Kawhi are they do that BS thing from like middle school coaches where they score without the ball. Like they they don't have to be the center of attention or the main like the producer of the offense. They don't have to be, on fire and just hitting all the shots and taking all the shots to be like productive. They can still they drive, they kick it, like all that other stuff. Like that's just something that Harden just doesn't have in his game. And I don't know if he can get it just because of the way he plays.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, not that they have to play this style of basketball, but their offense definitely needs more
Overall.
ball movement more ball movement, player movement, and like less ISO.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But I mean, and that's the thing too, like they can still play ISO, like Harden still can get all the fouls he wants, but like if it's not there, like he needs to be able to move without the ball. He needs to be able to catch and shoot, and other guys need to be able to be allowed to move without the ball instead of just standing in a corner so that Harden can go ISO.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that finally wraps up everything I have to say on basketball.
All right, so outside of basketball, we talked about basketball like every day on the show, like, but still never like we rarely called it our main topic, which is weird. We're gonna talk about E3, like hype, just expectations, things like that. E3 is basically just like the video game Super Bowl. Electronic Entertainment Expo is what I think it stands for. And basically to prep you for the show, like we watched some videos and just did some like research on like what games were gonna be there. And so like we'll just like break it down, like because they're each of the major companies is gonna have a conference showing like what all is gonna be there, and we'll just start at EA because there's not gonna be any Sony, so we'll just start at EA. They're gonna have Star Wars, Apex Legends, Battlefield 5, FIFA 20, Madden 20, and then The Sims 4. So like they're gonna have 3 games that are already out, and then like the sports franchises, and then they're just gonna have Jedi Fallen Order. So like their show's gonna suck, except for that game, hopefully. I don't know. Do you have anything to say on that? I know you were dumping on them for showing off a game that's already old and sucks.
Yeah. I was dumping on them for Battlefield 5 because I don't get what they're gonna show if people have already been playing it for a couple of months and it didn't get good reviews. Mm-hmm. And then Apex Legends, like that game's already out too. So they're just revealing season 2 apparently, right?
Yeah, they're gonna reveal like the second season of it. So probably add a character, maybe change the map a lot.
It's just one map, like Fortnite,
just like Fortnite, or they might have a second map. Who knows? Maybe they'll just make 2 available.
Okay.
But like I don't know.
That's Apex, and then sports. We don't really care about. Sports. Like I don't care about FIFA or Madden. And then.
Yeah.
You were saying?
I don't know. I was just saying, like, what do you? Are you gonna buy the Star Wars game no matter what? Pretty much like I am.
I guess I kind of want to learn more about it first. Then I feel like I'll be able to answer that question better. So I'm hoping that since they're not coming out with a whole lot of other stuff, and like some of the stuff they already have is out, hopefully they've like focused all their attention on this Star Wars game and make it as good as possible. And we still don't know what kind of game it is, right? Whether it's single player, multiplayer, both. Like, do we know anything about? We know nothing about the game, right?
No. Well, we know it's single player only, and we know it's third person. That's all we know.
Oh, okay. So I didn't even know we knew those things. So if it's single player only and third person, then I would say yes, I will definitely buy it no matter what.
It would be dope if it was something like an Assassin's Creed, like if it were open world and just you could go around and kill people and use the Force and shit. Like that would be awesome. But I know that's not what's going to happen. I would even settle for something like an Uncharted, like where it was just you just go in a straight line and do missions, and there's cutscenes and like crazy shit happening, and you can beat it in like 10 hours or something. Like it doesn't take your whole life away.
I mean, I'd like it to be longer than that, but yeah, I agree with that too. I'd be okay with either one of those play styles because honestly, I enjoyed the campaign on Battlefront on I think both games, and like I'll be honest with you, it's pretty lackluster and sucky, and like it was still fun and enjoyable. So like literally, if it's single player only, that tells me that they're really going to focus on the campaign. So like if I enjoy a game that they don't care about the campaign on, I'm assuming I would definitely enjoy the campaign on a campaign only game. So I would say yes, I'll probably definitely buy it no matter what. And you said you're doing the same?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm just
unless it gets like 3s, like unless they say it's the worst game ever. But yeah, if it gets like a 7 or better.
After Battlefront 2, we bought it and like never played it. It's just such a shitty game. But like after that, like I think I'm just gonna, I'll wait, that first few days after it's out when all the reviews come in and just see like what people have to say about it. If they dump on it, then I'm not going to buy it. But it would have to get such a low score for me to not get it, just because it's freaking Star Wars and there are so few games. Like, I gotta play it.
Exactly.
And
That's how I feel.
And we're about to not have movies too. So like we gotta do something to get us through this like 3-year gap.
Yeah. And well, that's what stinks though. I'm kind of a little disappointed that it's single player only. It'd be really cool if they could do like a Far Cry on Star Wars, or we can like play together.
Honestly, now that I've said it out loud, like I really wish they would just do the Assassin's Creed Odyssey of like Star Wars games. That would be freaking dope.
Oh yeah. And I mean they might, but I don't know. I guess I can't put all my faith in EA like that to do something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. You got anything else to say on EA before we move on?
No.
All right. So next one we'll go with the Square Enix. They have an Avengers game. It was first shown off in like 2016. No one's heard anything about it since. They're doing like a huge blowout on it. They've said like it's going to be there. Still seen no gameplay, nothing about it. We don't know anything about it at all. Like what kind of game it is at all. Like it could be a freaking pinball machine, like digital or something. You know, like it could be the dumbest thing imaginable. I mean, it's not going to be that just because the people that are working on it did the latest Tomb Raider. So like it'll probably be a third-person game and probably be semi-open world or open world, I guess. So, I don't know. I'm really hoping that game is good and not... I'm hoping it's not... what's that? That game we played in high school. It's like DC Universe Online. I'm hoping it's not like that, you know? It's not like...
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, because I'm a little afraid that's going to be it. Because how do you even make a game that you play as 6 different characters, you know? At least. Because they've come out with like a little small trailer for it where they just... It's nothing really, but they've shown off like Hulk... Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and like Black Widow. So like that's 5 characters right there, and they're probably all in the game. So how do you play as 5 different characters through a game? You know, that's weird. Like I can't think of a game that does that. You know, I can't even think of really a game that you do 2 different characters in.
Grand Theft Auto 5, 3 characters.
That's true. Damn.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I wondering where you were going with this. I was like, really? I was like, you not remember Grand Theft Auto? But I still get what you're saying because, to me, they name another like good superhero game too. It's very, very rare that they make a good superhero game aside from I don't know. I think the most recent one we've gotten is the Batman Arkham games.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man on PS4. Yeah. Okay. Well, before that, I guess they had
Nothing.
a history of making bad superhero games, but they've definitely gotten better, I guess, since Batman. Can you think of one before Batman?
I mean, like there was like the older like Spider-Man games; those were all right, but like those weren't like great or anything. So like,
yeah,
the best ones have come out recently.
Okay,
like
okay.
for show.
For sure.
I don't know. They don't really. They make besides the Avengers game, they make like Tomb Raider, Hitman. I don't know. I mean, that's all that I think we would care about is. Any of that, like, I mean, they make like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, but I don't think either one of us are going to play that. Maybe Gamble will.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, like, I don't know. Did you play the newest 2 Tomb Raiders? Either one of them?
I have the second one. So I played the first one. I have the second one. I haven't played the second one yet, and I don't want to buy the third one until I play the second one.
Do you think you're ever going to get around to it?
Yeah, probably when I move home. I'm definitely like, getting the vibe that I'll have some free time on my hands, so I'll hopefully get around to it, especially now that I've beaten Odyssey. Actually, I'm going to give Doom another try before I delete it, and then after that, the next game on deck would be Tomb Raider, so I'll try it out. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with this Avengers game, you know, to play with all these different characters, but at the same time, if they can make it, I mean, anything decent, it has the potential to be an amazing game, but you said we know nothing about it. We don't know if it's
we don't know
what style of play.
No. Like, what if it's multiplayer? Like, who knows?
Ideally, you know, you'd think it'd be maybe like a Borderlands thing where we could jump into a world together and you could be so Iron Man and I could be whoever and we can go from there.
That would be so sick, dude.
Uh-huh. And so, technically, it has the potential to be any of these things because we don't know yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I really hope they don't drop the ball with it because, like, that's probably... I don't know. That's like one or two most anticipated games like of the year if it comes out this year, which I feel like it is if they've waited this long before saying anything.
Yeah, and this is Square Enix, right?
Yeah, and they make pretty good games. I mean, I like their Hitman.
And that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, now I'm not saying I love all their games, but I feel like all of their games are well received by critics. I feel like every game that they have their name on normally gets pretty good reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think of something they haven't on because they even got good reviews on Deus Ex. But I never played them.
Yeah, it's free. It was like free on PlayStation, and I still never played it.
Yeah, I think same. I think I downloaded it. I don't know. I think I even had it on PS3 at one point. Never played it though.
All right, so we'll go to Ubisoft. No Assassins this year.
Oh God, I'm so soft about that.
Are you really bummed about that? Like, if
so
they were
soft, especially now that I've beaten Odyssey and I'm probably about to beat all the DLC. Like, yeah, definitely soft that there's no Assassins this year.
And you would be ready for it. You wouldn't be like fatigued or like, I don't know.
Oh,
tired
yeah.
of it.
Oh, I'd be very ready for it because I'd have basically the summer off from it unless I did New Game Plus on Odyssey like I did with Origins because I replayed Origins right before Odyssey came out and then played Odyssey as soon as I got it. So,
Dang.
like, that's the tits. So, yeah, I'm probably going to beat the crap out of Odyssey, hopefully start playing something else, and then once I hate it, I'll go back to Odyssey and play New Game Plus. So, really upset that there's no Assassins this year, definitely. But I'm. It's not like an uncontrollable upset. I'm understanding. You know, if they're gonna, as long as they make another game at some point, I'll be okay.
Well, they've already had the rumor that the next one's going to be Ragnarok, and it's going to be like Viking and stuff.
Yes.
So, and like usually, the joke is with Ubisoft is like all their games leak. Like they can't keep any sort of secret. Like somehow,
Yeah.
they must just be so massive. Like someone's bound to slip up. That must be like the only way to describe it. But basically, like every game they've had is leaked in some way.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember reading that article.
Yeah, it was like almost every Assassin's Creed game leaked like before it came out. So that one's probably true, and it's probably coming next year. So you won't have to wait too long.
God, I can't wait. And now the other thing, there is another movie in the works, right?
Yeah, but at this point, like so little has been said about it. It's probably not.
Damn.
Because the other one came out in 2016.
I know.
It's now 2019. There's been nothing said about it, so yeah, there's probably not.
So you think the next game will happen before the next movie?
Oh, 100%, yeah, because it's not it's not happening now. So, and it takes 2 to 3 years to make a movie, and I bet the next Assassin's Creed comes out next October. So there's no way.
Well, that's really upsetting because, like, I know the movie they made is really not that great, but like, I love Assassin so much that like, I still enjoy the movie a little bit, and like,
you see the potential.
You know, I see the potential, and especially since they didn't make a second movie like immediately. Mm-hmm. But it's like it got mentioned that it might happen. I was like, yes, like hopefully they're taking their time and like just doing it better, like making a better movie. Because the first one had a lot of potential. It just it wasn't very good. But I actually like in Tomb Raider, like the Tomb Raider movie, I don't like
Sprout.
The moments. I don't like Sprout for sure. I don't like the moments that they compare to the video game. So, like, the same things that happen in the video game, they, like, basically do the exact same thing in the movie. Like, the way the plane, like, breaks apart and she's barely hanging onto a plane that's on the side of a waterfall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the way they do that. But in Assassins, I did like the way they did it. Like,
the eagle and the assassinations and everything. And they jumping over roofs.
Yes. Like, the way they did the stunts, it was a little corny, but I still liked the execution. I actually enjoyed, like, whenever they did pay homage to something from the game, I was like, yes, like, I liked that. It was just the rest of the movie that suffered, really. Oh, well.
Yeah,
sorry.
Move on, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I see what you mean, but I really couldn't care less because I really did not like that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, all they're rumored for is Watch Dogs 3 and then more Ghost Recon crap.
Yeah, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Now, isn't Wildlands out right now? What's their current game?
Wildlands and Siege are both. Siege is Tom Clancy. But yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands is out right now. And this is sort of a...
I thought Ghost Recon was Tom Clancy.
Maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. Basically, they're sort of a sequel. Like this is another game where they've showed stuff off of it, but it's hard to tell what it is because they've showed off like very scripted like cutscene things. You know, like you can't really tell what's going on. You can't tell if it's open world or not. But they basically said it's like a pseudo sequel to like Wildlands, and I'm curious to see if they can make it fun this time. I'm
Is
curious.
Wildlands good? Like, what's the deal with Wild? Did anybody play it?
Yeah, they have the beta, and so like we played that for a little bit, and it's just it has so much potential, but it's just not. I don't even know what to say. It's just not. They need to take lessons from like Far Cry 5 and stuff like that, where like you can do co-op and stuff, and you can go to outposts and kill all the people and everything. It's a little too serious, and it's a little too like realistic.
Okay.
So it's just not as much fun. Like it's not as fun of a world to like just mess around and dick around in.
Okay.
So like yeah, I really feel like if they made it more fun, which it doesn't look like they are. It looks like it's even more serious. So I'm not really looking forward to this game either. But again, they haven't showed anything from it, so maybe that'll change.
Well, we shall see. I mean, I don't even know if I've really played any of them, so I'm kind of indifferent on that. And I didn't play the Watchdog games either. They looked okay, but no, I don't know if it's really anything I would write home about. But it looks like they're going to make a third one, so I guess people like them. I don't know too many people that have played it.
Yeah,
Ghost Recon Wildlands is 7.9. It says that it's co-op. I didn't realize there was co-op.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Far Cry. It's just it's third person, and it's just not as much fun.
Got it.
And Watch Dogs has co-op too, but I know a big deal in that game is like it's realistic in the sense that like you can't just go around and kill like hundreds of people. Like you have to use like stun guns, and you use like technology and stuff to knock people out, and you'll occasionally shoot and kill someone.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around. So, like, I don't know. It's just that's another. Go ahead.
Sorry. Why is Ubisoft making all these co-op games and not making Assassins co-op, and yet they have 2 playable characters in the newest Assassins?
That's a very good question because I don't think anyone liked it.
If they made it work, though, like if you and I could do what we do in Far Cry on Assassins, where you're
amazing.
Like, you're the dude and I'm the chick, and we're just fucking killing everybody. Like, why would that not be the greatest thing ever? Like, how is that not doable?
That is a great point. That is definitely something they need to do. I think it's just because they took one swing at it, and that was like the worst Assassin's Creed game.
Yep.
And so they were like, well, we'll never do that again, basically. Like. And
that was the thing. That was the worst game, and I still had a ton of fun playing that co-op.
Yeah. I wish they would do another. I wish they'd take another shot at it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if the world's too big that you somehow can't handle it. I don't know, but like the Far Cry, I say the Far Cry maps are pretty big, and we play co-op on that. So
even I'd be all right if they made the world smaller, just to make it a co-op or make another world, and you can do co-op in that world. But I don't think there's any like technical reason because, like I don't know, the Assassin's Creed is so freaking massive. Like there's no way you couldn't make it a tiny bit smaller and put another person in there.
Exactly.
And yeah, you're right. There's 2 multiple characters. I don't know. That is really dumb.
Yeah. If they're gonna make Watch Dogs and Ghost Recon co-op, why not this one? If this is the best one.
Sure.
Well.
Before we get off of Ubisoft, there's like a rumor for like a Splinter Cell game. Do you have any interest in that?
I think I did see that. Yeah, I do. Do you?
Yeah. I think I borrowed yours, like the Blacklist one. Really liked that game. Good. It had like the Red Dead mechanic where you could mark people's heads and then shoot them. So that was really fun. Yeah, like I really hope they bring that back. I like little stealthy games, and it's basically kind of a modern day Assassins. You're sneaking around and whatnot. But not open world.
That's what I liked about it. I think like the style of Hitman, Absolution, and the style of like Max Payne and Splinter Cell, like depending on which Splinter Cell, because there's a bunch of them, but like kind of that style where it's like it's not necessarily open world, it's like sandbox, and you're like killing a ton of people, and yeah, it's like more modern day Assassins. But I don't like the current Hitmans. To me, they're like way slower, way more strategic. So, but yeah, I'd be interested in another Splinter Cell. Like if it came out and it had decent ratings, I would, and there's nothing else to play, like I would definitely probably give it a shot, especially with some of these other crappy games I've bought.
That's another game where the last one had multiplayer in that one too.
What?
The last Splinter Cell had multiplayer in it too.
I don't think I played that. I don't think I played the multiplayer, but I might have played the game. Which game was it?
Blacklist, I want to say Blacklist. But yeah, it had like a BS multiplayer. But I'm just saying, like, that's another franchise where they have multiplayer in it.
Yeah.
So,
God.
yeah. Let's see. Just trying to think of like if. Yeah, we'll go right into like Microsoft. So basically, their big deal is they're gonna announce like the new Xbox. Or that's what at least people are really highly speculating. They're gonna announce it. And it's supposed to be like cloud based basically, so like everything is going to be streaming, like no downloading or anything like that. They might still have the option, but it's going to be very heavily focused on like, you want to play this game, you can play it right now and you stream it across the internet. Being a person who struggles with internet, I am not excited for that. Unless it really does run smoothly, like that'll be like a proof of concept, that sort of thing. Or I get like better consistent internet. That really doesn't excite me that much, but I understand why it's cool, because then you can play games whenever you want. And you don't have to wait for them to download and delete them and everything like that.
And this is a new console for Microsoft?
Yeah, like the Xbox 2. Like they won't call it that, but they'll come out with their new one.
And it's online only.
Yes.
But it's not portable. Is it like a solid console or is it portable?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We don't really know, but we assume it's going to be like a solid console.
Okay. And so it's online only, as in there's no storage, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like there's storage there. I think there's gonna, like, I don't know is what I'm saying, but I think I don't think they'd be dumb enough to be like, you can buy this, and if you don't have internet, you're done. You know, I feel like they're gonna still let you put a disc into it, and if you have internet enough to download stuff, like they'll let you download stuff. But like a big part about it will be that you can just stream every game if you want to.
And you think PlayStation will do the same, or is this like an Xbox only thing?
Well, PlayStation's been like really quiet about what the PlayStation can do, basically.
Because they've always been technologically ahead of like Microsoft and Xbox. So you got to imagine anything that Microsoft does, PlayStation's going to be able to match or outdo, right?
Yeah, I would imagine that, especially if they're going to come out with it later, because they've never officially said that the console isn't coming out like in December of this year, like the Xbox 2 or whatever you want to call it. But they do imagine like they'll come out with it before the PS5. So if it's going to come later, it's probably going to be stronger. It's just it still might not be better. A lot of people are saying this is going to be like a really cool deal, and it's going to have Gears 5 and like a new Halo game on it.
Yeah, and so like, I don't know, is that a big deal? Like, do people still care about Gears of War and Halo?
I was going to ask you if you cared, so I guess that's a no.
I mean, if they made a decent Halo game, like, I would play it, but I mean, that's if I'm buying an Xbox, which I didn't plan on it. But I guess we'll see what happens. I've switched before, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, that leads me into like my main question is like, what would it take for you to see, like, for you to get the Xbox over the PS5, or like, I don't know, vice versa, or God forbid, like the Nintendo whatever?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would literally have to be ratings, the games, like the quality of the games, and then I guess just maybe, I'm sure price. Price would probably be a factor, and then.
How much would you be willing to pay for it? How much do you want to pay for it? 400.
Honestly, I don't even really want to pay that. Honestly, I don't really pay more than 300. But I guess that's not going to happen. And if I'm going to have to pay more for the console, I'd like to pay less for the games, especially if the games are all streamable. Mm-hmm. Like, why I shouldn't have to pay $60 every time I want to stream a game, right? I think that would be a factor. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I think the biggest thing that it comes down to is probably your and Gamble's opinion. It's probably going to be a big factor, like what you guys think of whatever it is, and if you guys play it, and if you guys like it, you know, like, hey, Ryan, play this with us. Okay, like that's probably the biggest factor is probably you guys, because you're the reason I have a PS4. So, and that was however many years ago. I've gotten worse since then.
Yeah,
So,
I would say it would take a pretty good amount. I don't think there's any way I won't get the PS5.
so you might get this Xbox 2 and a PS5, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like that's a possibility, but I don't think there's just no way I could pick the Xbox just straight up over the PlayStation just because like I mean just Last of Us, Infamous, and like God of War 2 and Horizon 2 and like all these other games like you can only play on PlayStation. Like I care way more about those than Halo and Gears. So like
All of those are for sure happening.
yeah, I mean they're gonna make a God of War 2 and they've confirmed a Horizon 2 and they'll bring back Infamous one day, you know.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, I think the same thing you do. I don't think there's any Xbox games out there that I like enough that justify me buying an Xbox again. I mean, it's very rare that I ever see an Xbox exclusive and go, damn, like it's been, I feel like it's been at least a couple years since I've been like, damn, like I wish I could play that, but it's only on Xbox. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope like when they have their conference, they show off something besides Halo and Gears because if that's all they show, like I'm out. You know, there's like what am I don't care about either one of those. So what's the point?
yeah, and like if they made a decent one, I would play Halo because I mean I don't hate it, but I did not like Gears when I played it. I didn't like it at all. To me, it was too
slow,
too weird, too weird, too clunky. Your character's massive and like takes up half the screen. I don't get it, so I didn't enjoy it.
Oh man. Well, all right. So I guess.
So it sounds like it's not really, nothing's really going to convince you to switch consoles. You're going to be PlayStation loyal. I mean, can Nintendo do anything to convince you?
Well, I would say there's nothing that's going to make me switch, but like there's something that could make me get more than just the PlayStation, you know? Because I've had only just the PlayStation because to me like Microsoft and Nintendo haven't really been that great. So like I don't see they're exclusives.
Steam? Are you on Steam at all?
Yeah, but again, like what am I going to play there? Like most of like 95% of what Steam has, I can play on the PlayStation, and I don't have to deal with a stupid computer, you know, that breaks all the time. Or you know what I mean? Just harder to use. You know what I mean? Like just.
Okay, so you're open to be influenced by Microsoft and Nintendo, but no matter what, you're getting a PlayStation.
Yeah, like it's just too like I just care too much about stuff that's going to be coming out on that eventually. So I'm just going to get that. Like yeah, like you said, the price. Like if let's say PS5 is like $500, and like the Xbox is like $200 or something, like just a ridiculous amount. Then we might be talking like then maybe, but like I don't see that happening. Like it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point. If one system is 50% cheaper than the other, I would heavily consider the cheaper system. Like
50%,
the games would have to be fives across the board for me not to get that cheaper system.
Yeah, I would say anything more than $100 difference is pretty convincing of whatever one's cheaper.
Yeah, but I feel like they would never do that either, though.
No, because like they're like massive companies, and they probably know, you know,
they're trying to make it a somewhat
cost.
Fair marketplace.
Yeah,
competitive marketplace.
They know what the other guy's going to like charge, you know, or they have an estimate because they're, you know, they know what these parts cost, and they have all the same. So, yeah. So I guess, the last thing is like I don't know if you have anything to say about like Nintendo, but like the only thing they're showing off is like Pokemon. So like I was just wondering like is there anything that would ever make you get a Switch?
I would love to. I mean, really, it's a tough thing for me just because there's so many things that I'm trying to, you know, do in life, and there's so little time. So like I need money. And then if I have money, that normally means I'm working more, which means I have less free time. So it's always like a yin and yang. So like if I had money to blow, yeah, I'd buy a Nintendo. But if I got money to blow, that probably means I don't have a ton of free time. Mm-hmm. So, and that might change though. Like if I'm living at my parents' house for any extended period of time, that is like just limitless potential for me to save money and thus have money to blow and possibly still have some free time in there just because my bills are going to be so much less. I mean, I'm essentially going to be saving $600+ a month. Now, granted, I might not be making anywhere close to the same income, but I'm not paying, you know, like a $400 base rent, $450, whatever, or like $400 base rent with whatever our bills are, and then like I'm paying some things off on credit right now. So like if I'm only paying off things on credit and I'm not paying for any utilities or rent, like I don't know, that gives me money to buy a console or two, I guess. So Nintendo could convince me, but it would have to be very playable. I just don't. Every time I play Nintendo, I just end up not enjoying it. They're normally not as in depth as I want it to be.
Like the games, or just like
Yeah, the games. Like I'm paying $60 for Odyssey, and I'm paying $60 for some Nintendo game. Let's just say Mario, for argument's sake. I mean, I'm getting so much more out of Odyssey than I am Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just so much more there. I mean, I'm probably not going to play Mario for 100+ hours and not be bored. Like, and be willing to keep playing. Like, I'm able to do that with Odyssey, and Nintendo just doesn't seem to make games that can handle that kind of stuff.
Did you ever see how many hours you played in Odyssey?
No, I can find out, though, while we're still talking.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you literally did play 100 hours. Do you think it's really that high?
It's gotta be.
Oh, man. That's insane.
I don't know. Who knows? But are you open to Nintendo? I mean, I forget. I thought you had a Switch, or what
Yeah,
happened?
I have one, but I like regret it. I never play it. That's the thing is like I'd love to play stuff on the go. Like that would just be so cool.
Exactly.
But I would love to play Odyssey, or I'd love to play like, Fallout 4 or like God of War, or like just, games that are, better than just, to me 2K, like I've been tired of 2K for like 10 years, so I don't.
Oh, and I would play 2K on the road, but I can't do it on the Switch because I don't like the buttons.
Oh, really? Oh, because it's flipped?
Yeah, because it's flipped. I can't do that.
Yeah, see, I have 2K and that messes me up all the time, but 2K is pretty much the only like big game that's on there that even sort of interests me, because they have like Doom and stuff, but again, I've never been super into that, so it's just like, what am I playing on it, So like, like to me, they've burned me, so like I'm just gonna, until like I know that there's like 10 or 15 games I really want, I'm not gonna buy their next thing, just because like,
Exactly.
I've been burned before, because like everyone was like freaking out. Like I remember Jordan saying like, it's gonna have all these things, it's gonna have everything on the go, and I'm like, that sounds freaking dope, like that sounds amazing, and then it has nothing on the go. And of course he still likes it because it has 2K and Rocket League, and I'm like, I got tired of 2K and Rocket League like after 4 months of playing it or something. Like I can't do that. I can't do that for years and years,
I don't know how he does it. I can't believe he's still playing Rocket League. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I saw him playing it the other day. No BS.
Oh God.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up with just like some miscellaneous stuff. They got like Dying Light 2's coming out. That's like that parkour kind of first person game where you're like fighting all the zombies and everything, and it has multiplayer in it. And I don't know if it'll be 4-player, but it has multiplayer in it. It'll be coming out this year. The big thing about that game is like it really bothered me that the weapons broke so easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they dull that back a bit, and I hope they add like more guns. That would be like really sick. So, and that would be a fun game to play co-op, because that's just, at that point it's like kind of just like Far Cry Zombies.
Yeah, and that sounds good to me. I didn't play the first one, but I definitely heard a lot of good things about it. And if it's co-op, I'd really be down to check it out. And that's a game that's going to come out on all consoles, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be good. And then there's Borderlands 3.
Borderlands 3. I don't know about that game. I'm going to wait for the reviews on that one. I'm hoping it's a little bit different than 2 and I guess the pre-sequel, because I played the crap out of 2, and I don't know. I was kind of amazed by how tired of the pre-sequel I got like immediately. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I just got tired of it.
Yeah, and I can't remember how that went down either, because the whole time we were playing, I thought you were enjoying it, and then like we never played again. I missed that for sure.
I don't know, man. It just got repetitive, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood.
Yeah. And plus, honestly, starting that game is a little tough, just because like your guns suck, and even though your guns suck, you're killing enemies that suck. I don't know. It's just it's like any other game. It takes a little bit to get into it because everything kind of stinks at the beginning. And I pulled up Odyssey. It's over 100 hours. What's your guess now? Now that you know it's over 100, do you want to take a guess at all?
176.
Well, a little lower than that, but it's 128 hours, 31 minutes, and 57 seconds.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Thanks. A lot of time. I meant to check the time when I beat it, but I'm assuming I still was probably in the 100. I was still probably over 100 hours before I actually completed the main story.
Probably.
I don't think I've played 28 hours since then. I've probably only played maybe 8 at the most, if I had to guess, but I don't really know. Because I played it a lot on Sunday. Like, I played it most of the day, so that was great.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to spend a Sunday.
Yeah, great game. I didn't do anything else. That was Scott.
Other other games, I'm ready for Cyberpunk. I hope that game comes out this year.
Why?
So I can play it.
I know, but why are you excited for it? I've never heard of it.
I've shown it to you. You've definitely heard of it. It's
okay, bet. Okay, good. Yeah, I've heard of it. Definitely, yeah.
It's just an open world like RPG and like first person. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, there might be like a higher probability that I would say like you would like it, honestly, because like you played like Odyssey, which is kind of a RPG, like it's a light RPG, I guess.
I like it light.
And this is like a little like this is heavier than that, but it's also like first person shooting, so it's like it's not like super like nerdy, it's not like swing the sword or whatever. Like it's it's a little more casual. So like it looks like really awesome, looks really fun. Hope that game finally comes out because I've heard about that for forever. And I hope it comes out this year, because if it comes out next year, like I'm gonna be really pissed. But yeah, they're gonna have like huge like demo for that. Borderlands. What like if they show off anything about the new? They probably will show off something for the new 2K, 2K20. What do you want from that? What are you looking for like from the new 2K?
I would like to be able to play online again, but I really don't know if that's 2K's fault. That's probably more my fault for just not being good at it anymore. I don't know. Online is just such a joke. I just wish having a game online would just be easier. Like anytime I go to like the park, for example, man, it just takes forever to be able to get to play with anybody. People are awful. Everybody's a troll. Nobody passes. And it's just a lot of stuff it's just a lot of stuff that 2K can't do anything about. People are always going to be terrible, but I still wish the game was a little bit more playable online. Basically, I would say my complaints / wishes for 2K are like a dimmed down version of what Jordan's always complaining about, if that helps.
The big man thing.
Well, he focuses solely on that one issue, but like I would say all the issues that are related to that, basically just realism of basketball, like just somehow making online a little bit more realistic versus like 2K. Like the way you play on 2K is not how people like generally play basketball. Like I don't know, just
it's not a good simulation, I guess.
Yeah, like it has those. 2K has those flaws. Like people exploit different actions on 2K, and it just gets really annoying because some people just get so good at it, you'll never stop them. So
can you still do the thing where like me and you used to do, where like we would just play a regular NBA game with NBA players and play like
where you control one person? Honestly,
yeah.
I feel like they don't. They technically do, but it's in the form of your my player. So you create your my player, and then you can play like me, you, and 3 other people can be a team of 5 guys and play other teams of 5 guys, and that's how the 2K League works. And that's how.
But not on blacktop, like actual NBA.
Yeah, it's on like they play NBA rules on an NBA arena. It's with their created players, but it's just like the same style that you and I play, but it's with your my player.
See, I don't want to do that, because then it's just like, all right, who paid for the $150 version of the game?
Yeah, exactly, and that's always been the problem, is just because it's the same thing as the park. There are things to exploit. They tend to be different just because it is different styles of play between the park and the arena, and all that good stuff. I don't know. Yeah, it's just different style of plays, but people still exploit stuff. And yeah, you still have the guys who are no lifers, and the guys who basically paid to play. They paid to get ahead of everybody.
Yeah. So like, I guess, are you gonna buy that edition, or are you gonna buy like the base edition of the game?
I bought the base edition of this past year's game, and I definitely didn't regret it. I probably, based on the way I've been playing, I'll probably just do that. I'll probably just stick to my team. I think I'm pretty over my player at this point. I'll probably just buy the game for my team and just try to keep getting better at that, and maybe try to get more invested to that where I'm able to play that online, because it has a ton of online stuff, but I'm always just like scared. And by the time I'm ready to play online, everybody's ahead of me, of course. So yeah, I might just jump on that train, especially now that I've discovered locker codes. It's only taken 10 years or however long they've been doing it. However long Twitter's been a thing.
Is there any way you don't get this game? Like,
What, 2K20?
Yeah, what if it gets like 5s or 6s?
It won't. I mean, it won't.
But
I guess if it did, I wouldn't get it. And if
would you look into live?
Depending on its ratings. And also, if they came out, if the game came out on a console I don't have, then I'm definitely not buying it.
Yeah.
But I guess it won't. I guess the next set of next year.
It'll come out for PS4 and everything like that. They
Oh,
won't.
that's right, because it's coming out this year. I always forget it comes out September of this year.
Yeah.
October, whatever they decide. Are you going to get it? You said you were talking about the new 2K, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It would have to be like really cool or something. I don't know. I don't even know what I would want, but I would want something like dramatically different.
But you don't even play anything on there, so what would you want out of it?
Exactly. I would like to do what I just said. Like, I would like to play online with you against another 5 people, and we're using NBA players, so like the skill level of the players is somewhat the same.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
So I would love that. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Probably not, because they're all in on the My Player, because it just if there are more modes with My Players, then there'll be more My Players, and there will be more, use for the VC, and people will be paying more money. So why bother,
Yeah.
So like it would have to be something like the graphics look like 30 times better or something like that, Or maybe they make My Player like super cool again, like they make it not the stupid fresh lettuce thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe they make it even dumber, like just some dramatic improvement, or like just terribleness. Either way, in the My Player would make me get it. Is there any way you get
version of the game?
Is there any way you get it and live?
Probably not. Definitely not. No, it's just a waste of money at this point. But I would say I've been preaching this, and I don't know if I've ever preached about it on the show, but I guess I did, probably like in the very early episodes when we were together. But like in Houston, I would say they need to make an M-rated version of 2K, man. They need it so bad.
Yeah, you have said it.
Okay, good. Yeah, they need an adult version of 2K. Yeah, that would make it so much more interesting to just have, I don't know, just have cussing in the game. Kind of like that old one. What was that old game, NFL Blitz or something like that?
Yeah, Blitz. Yeah, it was
Blitz the League, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and you could see like Mortal Kombat style injuries on people, and like, yeah, that would be sick, man. That would be really sick.
Yeah, and technically they kind of had a version of that when they had that 2K football game where you could do like late hits and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so like if they could kind of add that element to basketball, like I'm not necessarily saying I want the basketball gameplay to change to where it's like violent and nonsense and Mortal Kombat style, but at least like maybe having dialogue in there, like whenever like you block somebody, they're like, get that shit out of here, and they like, just do all that. Like, I think that'd be great. So
I'll tell you what, if they come out with a 2K football game, I'll get that shit like day one. Because I forgot, dude. I forgot about that old game. Like, the old game was so sick. Like, you could hit people after the play, and like.
Yeah, we played that all the time and would die laughing, dude. We would like scream.
The
like
ragdoll thing was so funny. I would buy that game day one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing that would make me get 2K is if you could put your own music into the game. That would be sick.
Yeah.
I would love that. Like, just in the stadium and like in the menus and everything, I could listen to my music. I would get it. Like, no questions asked. I would get that.
Yeah, but you can just mute the TV and play your music.
Nah.
It's the same thing, but it's not the same.
Exactly. That's why I don't want it.
Yeah, I know. We'll see what happens with 2K. The other thing too, we were talking about like playing 2K on the Switch and on the go gaming. I've always found myself too that like I'm rarely on the go to where I can play a video game. Most of the time, if I'm on the go, I'm like driving or like doing an errand. Like I don't really like
love those errands.
Love them, dude. Like I never do something long enough to where I have to wait. And like playing a game is going to fill that waiting time. Like if I have to wait for something, I normally just move on and come another time. Like I don't I don't know. Yeah, so I feel like that something like the Switch is not very practical for me because if I'm playing something, I have free time and I'm sitting down and like doing nothing. I very rarely find myself able to do on the go gaming because I don't even have games on my phone. So like that's a big indicator right there.
That is a good point, though. Like, you have to be in a very specific situation. But, yeah.
Yeah. Because I rarely find myself on planes and, like, waiting in airports. To me, that's the best time. But it's not often enough that I do that. And, you know, what I do instead is just basically listen to music and sleep. So, you know, is it just justifiable to pay $300 to play the Switch once or twice a year when I fly home?
Tough decision.
It's tough.
All right. Well, I guess, is there anything you want to end the show on? Anything you want to say?
Well, yes. So, but before we move on past the video games, there's nothing left on E3 that you want to cover?
I don't think so, unless I missed something obvious, which I'm pretty sure I did. But I think I covered it all.
Okay. Well, I guess we talked about Borderlands more in the past. But yeah, I'm hoping some of these other games that we talked about have some potential for some good co-op or at least some good single player games like Star Wars and things like that. And I hope at the very least that Borderlands is a good game that we can play just because I know for sure it'll be co-op and it's real easy to play and you know, just shoot them up. So hopefully that at the very least will go well. And I'm interested to see what I think Star Wars. What would you say your most hyped game is? I would say mine is Star Wars. You can pick the same game because I feel like that's, I don't know. Yeah. To me, that was the easiest pick because I don't know what else there is to pick in terms of more hyped.
I would say yes. Right now it is Star Wars, but that's only because I've seen nothing and know nothing about Avengers. So
that's
if I know anything about, if I knew Avengers was a third person, some multiplayer, mainly single player game, it'd be Avengers. But like because I don't know about that, I'm gonna go with Star Wars. But then again, Star Wars is being made by EA and they're poop faces. So like, what am I supposed to do there?
Yeah, you're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I don't know. I would go with that.
Okay, so we both basically, I would say depending on, because we don't really know a ton about either game, and obviously, like you just said, they both have their positives and negatives already without us really knowing anything about them. So I would say it's fair to say that either one of them is number one or number two, Star Wars or Avengers, because I totally forgot about that. And so if that covers everything on E3, the other thing that we got to talk about is you mentioned it last episode. We never talked about it. And you get a follow-up on Normal by Eminem.
Yeah. I guess you just have such an influence over me, but like, because you said like the whole thing about Normal being a great song and, you just argue. I like how you said you argue with that guy just to argue with him, just to be annoying about it. But then you're like, wait, no, I actually believe this. Like,
oh yeah, I convinced myself. I was like, yeah, that's a good song.
But yeah, I made the drive down here, and it was like 5 or 6 hours from where I was, and I listened to Normal about like 10 times on that drive because I got into a groove of I was like, this is just a really like smooth, like this is like the most smooth Eminem song I've ever heard. Just in terms of like. He kind of plays a little bit with the auto-tune. He plays a little bit with like I don't even know, like half rap, half singing, and he does like really interesting ways with the beat and how he like rhymes words and how he gets I don't know, how he just extends like his bars until he gets the word that rhymes, if that makes any sense. Like he just I don't know, it's just very like interesting song by him, and it's like there's a story in it, and I think it's hilarious too. Like, I love you, but I hope you fucking die. And like maybe I'm just too ugly to compete with him, and like you weren't supposed to agree. Like it's just it's so funny. And it's a great song. Like, you're right. That's an underrated gem.
It is. It's a beautiful song, and then some of it, like some of the flow, isn't like the best, just because he's stretching so many words that like have no business even rhyming together, and he like makes it work, but it still doesn't really rhyme. So it's just interesting how he, I don't know. It's interesting how he does it. So yeah, I thought it was a great song. I've tried feeling that way about some of the other songs on the album, and I just can't. So I think that definitely just tells me something about it. And it's one of the few songs on the album too that like tells a story that's like fun and because I don't know, Stepping Stone's kind of to me is kind of depressing or boring or just kind of it's just kind of lame and then the other songs are definitely more focused on like the state of the media and like the rap game. And what people say about him, like all the other songs basically are like, but Fall, Ringer, Greatest, Fack, or Kamikaze. No, not Fack, Kamikaze, which sounds like Fack. So Normal's like one of the few songs where he's just like, I don't know, telling a story that's about a girl that's not Kim, and it's just got really good wordplay on it. I don't know. I'm glad that's. So how did you feel about the song before I went off on it? I guess is the real question.
I would put it a little bit. I would put it towards the bottom of like songs on the album. To me, the album is it's only 11 songs, or I guess 10 songs, but it's to me like all of them except for Nice Guy and
Good Guy.
No, I like one of them. I can't remember which. One of them is just Eminem rapping for like 2 minutes. And I never know which one's which because they almost have the exact same name. They're at the bottom of the album.
I think it's Good Guy that you like.
Yeah, I like Good Guy. I don't like the other one. And I don't like the chorus in Fall. Like the chorus in Fall to me is like really annoying, but I like the rest of the song.
Yeah.
So I would put those two at the bottom, and then I'd probably put like Normal down there, and then I'd put the rest like towards the top. And now I'd probably put Normal above like Stepping Stone, and maybe even Kamikaze, and then like at the top I'd put like the Ringer, Not Alike, and then Greatest. And then
wait, say the ranking again.
To me, at the top like would be Not Alike, Ringer, and the Greatest.
Okay.
Or,
and what was that?
And you could switch those first two. And
yeah.
You want me to rate this whole album?
No, but I thought for some reason I thought you said Kamikaze was like up there, like the song Kamikaze was up there in the rankings of your favorite songs.
It is, but I think now like Normal's probably above Kamikaze. Is what I'm saying. Like that's where it went. It went from like towards the bottom to like more the middle now.
Well, see, I don't know. I think my favorites, like the songs I listen to the most on that album are Ringer, Lucky You, Not Alike, and Normal. Those are the 4 songs I listen to the most. Greatest would be the 5th for me.
Yeah. I think
everything else I don't really listen to. The other half of the album I don't really listen to.
Yeah, I don't listen to the rest of the album as much, but I still think it's a great album.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, considering it's basically within a year. Like the fact that he dropped back-to-back albums is very uncommon for Eminem.
God, I hope we get another one.
Probably will. I don't see him quitting, but Tech Nine actually said some stuff about Eminem the other day too. It was very brief, also on Hip Hop DX, but he basically said that like, I feel like I'll probably elaborate more than he did. That's how like short the clip was, but basically it came off as like he can't stand the fact that people critique Eminem now and that they say only his old stuff's good, and he's like he just keeps getting better. Like he's still amazing. He's been amazing. He's probably even better. Like his wordplay is like unmatched, basically saying that like people only like the old stuff because of nostalgia, and that whenever that stuff came out, they were going through stuff, and that album related to them. So that's like all that old stuff is like the best stuff, and they just don't give the new stuff a chance, or they just feel like it doesn't relate to them, or they're just not listening because it's again new. What he's like, when people tell me they like my old stuff, this is what Tech said. He's like, when people tell me they like this stuff, I'm like, yo, like I'm so much better now. Like I'm so much more refined, and I'm so much better at like writing songs and doing this and that. And I agree with him. Like I'm not saying Eminem's old stuff is bad and like his new stuff is better, but like I would say some of his new stuff's better than his old stuff, and some of his old stuff's better than his new stuff. Like I'd say it really just depends on the song. Like I don't ever put age into the mix, and people definitely do. Like they're just so used to him being this great that whatever he comes out with is just not good enough. It's just, oh, okay, yeah, I expected that.
Yeah, and it's weird too because I feel like all of his albums are somewhat similar, yet they're different. Like I feel like if you go like to Recovery and then you compare it to like Slim Shady, it's like yeah, there's still some of the same, like, jokes and messed up stuff, and occasional serious song, but like just the flows and the feels of those albums are completely different. So like I kind of understand like why people don't necessarily like his new stuff, but at the same time I'm like, it's really not that different, and he is better in certain areas. Like I don't think he's worse in any areas. I just think he doesn't rap the same way as often as he did in like Slim Shady, mainly Slim Shady, and then a little bit in like Marshall Mathers. Like for me, like from like Marshall Mathers all the way to Kamikaze, like I don't see a ton of difference. And even if you go to Eminem show, then I don't see like almost any difference. With the exception of like just weird songs on Encore and Relapse because of like drugs.
Yeah. Well, and to me, I don't know if it's just because he's sober. And again, I'm glad he's sober. Not saying I want him to get back on drugs, but like the only thing I would say that I kind of miss is just the fact that not every song has to be the most lyrical rap song ever written. I feel like a lot of, but at the same time, I guess he was gotten to the point where he's so out of the media that he doesn't really have any, like he used to talk a lot about like what was going on in his life and like what was going on in the media. And now he's been famous for so long that he basically stays out of it. So I guess he doesn't like.
He's out of the media and his life's together. So like, what is he going to talk about?
Yeah. So yeah, he has nothing. Exactly. He has nothing to talk about anymore. So basically, he's just writing raps. And so I guess there's not a whole lot that can be done. Then I kind of just negated my own point. But I wouldn't mind. Exactly. You get what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying he has to go back to his old songs. That he doesn't have to repeat the same songs. And even he's acknowledged that on the Shady XV album, whatever song that was this hit off of, it's not Phenomenal, but the other one.
Guts Over
with
Fear?
Sia. Guts Over Fear. There you go. Boom. He mentions in that song, how many times can I say the same thing, that rhymes. Like, how many times can I make Not Afraid, basically. Mm-hmm. So, but even on Recovery, like between Recovery to where he's at now, it's like even totally different then. Like Recovery, he had like more mid-tempo flows. Like I feel like those two styles are completely different.
Yeah. It's weird.
It is weird, but
he's definitely unlike any other artist in like that regard. Like there's so much similarities and there's so many differences between all of his albums. Like it's kind of weird. Like we could honestly talk about this for like another hour. Just like the similarities and the differences of like all the different like ways he flows and uses songs and samples and everything like that.
Yeah. No, you're right. And so I'm interested to see if he comes out with another project. I don't know when that would be. I mean, because he's at 48 or 49 right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you think he'll probably be 50 plus before the next album comes out?
50 plus? You're asking me like, do I think he's going to come out with one in the next year and a half, 2 years?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, he'll come out with one before he's over 50. Like I'm almost guaranteeing it, just because I just think he's way more into the like he's I think he. What am I looking for here?
Sorry, he's only 46.
Oh, he's only 46, and I'm definitely saying it. No, but
yeah.
I
he'll
guess
probably come out with another album before he's 50. Yeah,
I'm saying he's coming out with one before the end of 2020.
Okay.
Even if it's another Kamikaze 10 song thing, or God forbid they do a freaking Bad Meets Evil 2, that'd be great.
Yeah, for real, that'd be amazing.
But yeah, I think definitely he'll come out with something like that. I don't even think it's not that unlikely that he'll come out with something before the end of this year, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like all we're gonna get from him the rest of this year is features, and I don't even know who those features would be aside from Joyner. And he's already done the song with Logic. I guess he had other features earlier this year, but we don't have to go back that far. But I don't know what else he would be featured on for this year, though. I don't know if like Big Sean has another project dropping that he might be on, or if
that'd be awesome.
If Royce has one, or if anybody else that just randomly decides to link up with him.
I doubt Royce. Royce just came out with something.
Yeah, but that was in 2018. I don't know.
Wasn't it? Was Prime in?
Oh, yeah, I forgot Prime 2 came out. Never mind. But I don't know when that came out. Either way, we'll see what happens. But I feel like all we're going to get out of him is features.
Maybe when Drake gets done being an idiot on the court side of Toronto, he'll, maybe when like in Game 3 of the finals, like they'll meet up there or something. You never know.
You never know.
That'd be dope.
They've been playing forever at the work radio all the time.
I mean, that's a great song. So
It is. So his most recent album was, I guess it doesn't list Prime on here. He came out with a single this year, 2019. Royce did. So he might. I don't know. Because if he does, I feel like M's almost guaranteed to be a feature. And then the Yellow Wolf's album's going to come at some point. I don't know if Eminem's on that at all.
yeah, I think there's probably a pretty high percentage chance on that too, honestly.
Okay. Well, do you have any other, I guess, final thoughts on Eminem or life in general?
Life sucks.
What? Why do you say that?
I don't know. You just said life in general. I was like, yeah, dude, it sucks.
Sucks. Yeah. It's kind of whatever.
Nah, man, I'm good. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get it going. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another classic episode of The Decent Show. Shout out to Gamble for the beats and the Whataburger. Hoping to record an episode with him tomorrow. This would be crazy to do a 3 episodes in 3 days. Oh, man, it's never been done. For Ring and Horton, I'm Ryan Money. You guys have a good night.
Jim, are you using the MP40 or the 44?
Sniper rifle?
Snipe what? Jim, are you playing for the other team? You snipe in Carrington, okay? Saboteur! Saboteur!
I'm gonna kill you for real. The game is over. I'm really going to shoot you.